was going to ask you a question.
Rebel!
What?
Here we are.
What?
I don't know what that was.
Hello, Diane.
Yeah, Ari, it's so good to see you. I don't know. It's weird because we'll start talking before we go online, and then like a half an hour goes by, and we're like, "Oh wait,
We better click go."
you got to get there." So I'm just, again, so happy to see you. I just think you're such a beam of light, and I just enjoy you so much. And thank you for all your hard work and efforts in the massage industry so that we could sit here and talk about something that I absolutely love, and that's the massage and body work and what it's done for me in my life and what it's done for you and what we hope to share and what we can help it do for other people.
Yeah, ditto. I mean, ditto. I definitely feel like we are creating a good chemistry here, and I feel the same way about you, and I feel super excited to be able to sit and talk and just like, yes, dive deep into all this stuff that I think we all think about every day, all day long, and to vocalize it, voice it, and hopefully share and pull the community together, support the community. That's the big goal.
And so I'm this time. You've sent me questions that we could go over together. I love that. So
I did. Can I start?
Yeah.
Can I dive in? Okay. So for me, I've got a couple things that I want to talk about. I did send you some questions, and we can talk there. I want to really the big theme of my questions are going to be about your position of leadership and what it means to be a woman in leadership. So I'm going to start with that specifically. So you own this business and you've won 6 awards?
6
awards.
Massage in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm.
Right. And you have employees and you have lots of clients and you are running this incredibly successful business. And I want to know how you hold that position of leadership and what you do with your employees to create trust. Because I want to know this because I think even if you're in your own business as a massage therapist and you're doing your own thing, or even if you're working for somebody else at a spa or at a clinic, I think there is a relationship you have with your client that you have to develop this sense of trust. And I think who better to hear about that than you?
Oh, thanks. So what I heard you first ask is, what is it like to be a woman in kind of a leadership role here in the Philadelphia area? And I'll touch on that first. In the beginning, in 1996, when I started doing massage, and I haven't taken a paycheck literally, and I mean, you can check my books from any other business since massage since then. And it was interesting and it was difficult, and it's changed through time. In 96, we lived in a little bit of a different world, and it took a lot of perseverance and just continuing to push on. And it's interesting too, because let me turn down the sound a little so it doesn't echo. But I would say now I'm just a business person. I'd say that I took a lot of help. See, I think the main thing that I would say about how to become a good leader is to surround yourself with people who you think are good leaders. And that's really what I did. I really started to seek help.
Yeah.
I asked for help. But it took a long time.
Yeah. So we were even talking about this before we went live, like what it means to kind of be a leader on your own and how that can benefit you or deter, and then what it means to partner up and how that can help you. So in your pushing through and creating your business, who were some of the people that helped you persevere, and what were some of the things inside of yourself that you felt like got you through? Because that's no joke.
I honestly, I've always been really kind of for lack of a better word, I've always really believed in whatever makes the world spin, whatever makes the universe spin. For me, it's a very broad thing. So I spent a lot of time working on myself. I mean, self-care was a huge part of me becoming a leader, because when I first became a leader, it was like, I am a leader.
Follow me. Yeah.
That was a disaster, really. So I had to be a really bad leader sometimes to get to be a good leader. So there's a lot of things early on that I do much differently now. But I think some of this, I really did. I sought out mentors, which is why I'm so big on mentoring. And I found people that had what I wanted or were doing things in a way. And I just kind of took bits and pieces and listened to what they were doing. And then slowly, another thing is time. Time takes time.
Time is huge.
It takes time to really fall into yourself. Like, what does a leader look like to me? I'm still kind of figuring that out, but I'm not afraid to keep trying. So for me, it's perseverance. It's finding people who know things that you might not and listening to them. And it took me I want to say it took me 10 years to learn how to listen.
And even still learning. I mean, I never know if this is true, but I love it so much that I latch onto it. But there was a story about this man who wanted to figure out where in the world, what country lived the longest. He figured out it was Okinawa, Japan. So he went there and studied for 7 years, and he found 3 things. Number 1, everything was fresh. So no McDonald's. Number 2, every exercise that they did was meditative. So they walked everywhere. They did Tai Chi. It was nothing that was hard competitive. And number 3 that I thought was the most amazing was that you weren't considered to be an adult until you were 50. So up until 50, you're still a child. You're still learning. And you need to be, that people who are older than 50 are actually revered, as opposed to kind of more American cultural norms, which is like, oh, you've got a wrinkle, you're done. You've got a gray hair, you're out. Make way for the new, young, pretty. You know what I mean?
I think they're. Go ahead.
Just the patience of really getting to a place where the wisdom finally falls into place. That's it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience. So I think, to your point, exactly.
Yeah, one thing that someone said to me a long time ago is, you don't find your feelings, they find you. Don't worry. You don't have to figure it out. Your feelings are going to find you. And when they do, and for me, I've applied that to everything. Like I said, I don't have to find leadership. Leadership finds me by showing up, by remaining honest, open, and willing is my favorite thing. How? Honest, open, and willing. And I've always just tried to be honest, open, and willing. And the right people appear to to help you along the way. But I wish I could say that I could take credit for being a good leader, but it's all the mistakes I've made. It's all the therapists that I've pissed off. It's all other business people that I've made upset or wrong decisions. It's all the wrong decisions that didn't stop me from continuing. And then, the hardest clients, they're the ones that really made me kind of what I am today. So if you're trying to avoid all that conflict and doing the wrong thing and messing up, perfection is unattainable.
Yeah, truth. I love that. It's so real. That's so real. And I think that's what I know that I needed to hear when I was starting off, for sure. Mm-hmm. So this brings me to another good question. How do you, and this could be applied to both your employees and your clients, but how do you approach and deal with a client who is not ready to move forward in healing? Or how do you deal with an employee who is not ready to be a part of the team?
So again, those were some of they're like the hardest. That's so hard. And I can't even pretend like it's not, it goes against sometimes almost like my normal thought process. Like when I got out of school, I was like, thank God I'm here, everyone. Thank God I'm here. Yeah. Now I can get you all well. I really thought, I really was like, thank God. I mean, the world is about to change because I'm a massage therapist and I'm going to massage all these people well. And probably just from our first conversation, they'll want to do everything I tell them, and be beaming balls of light, just like me.
Easy peasy.
I just found that I think the greatest gift that I can give a client, to a degree, is allowing them to figure out things themselves. Yeah. Right? to a degree, right? I can
Yes.
guide them a little bit. But if
Right.
I find that a client isn't making progress,
Mhm.
and it's hard because this is another thing I say in my book. I'm with them for 1 hour a week, right?
Right.
1 hour a week. I don't know what
Right.
they're doing outside of the massage room. I don't know if they're doing suggestions I've made. I don't know what they're eating. I don't know how they're treating their wives. I don't know how they're treating their husbands. I don't know what's going on. I see them for 1 hour a week. So it's really hard for me to make a perfect assessment of, I mean, they might seem
Right.
real cool in the massage room and they might leave and
Right.
be like, screw all of
Right.
you.
Who knows?
Bye.
Right.
You know,
Right. Right.
they-
Anybody can put on the perfect front, but who knows? Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I've just learned to meet people where they're at and to be
Hmm.
as helpful as I can. Now I've had a couple clients that are like, that were just so emotionally draining. And I've
Hmm.
let one client go just based on emotionally draining, where it didn't matter what I said. Every day was a bad day. Every suggestion was the wrong
Yes.
suggestion. Blah, blah,
The
blah. And
victim.
I gave her to another therapist and I wished her well. So my thing is, if I have someone who's chronically not, is just kind of what I think staying the same, I have to trust that maybe they're that way to keep themselves safe, or that's just
Yes.
the way they are. And
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's so much truth in that. When you see, like, there's the victim, which is, I think, who you're describing, right? That everything happening to them, and this whole idea of, even when you figure something out and you're trying to move through their pain, they're still like, but this, but that, but this. It has to be a defense mechanism. It has to be a protective mechanism. And so what's at the root of that? And I think that's hard to, that's out of our scope. So we tend to kind of like, what can we do in those moments? But I think going back to what you said, which I think is really powerful, meet them where they're at.
I mean, I meet people where they're at, and there gets to be a point where a lot of people will tell me what's wrong, why it's that way, and how I'm gonna fix it. Or
Right.
it's like, okay,
Right.
and I became somewhat agreeable because I realized that the only one who really knew what was going on for sure, because it could, a big thing of discussion now is a shoulder impingement or this or
Mhm.
that, and I get that. Like, we can help get rid of that impingement, and we could stop the tingling going down the arm. We could do it, and we could do it in a session, right? But if the person's neurotransmitters and their thought patterns are the same over and over again, then in a week or two, that's going to do the same thing.
It's
So
gonna
for
come
me,
back.
it's like, you would hope that me being who I am as a person, and being excited and taking care of myself might, help other people's neurotransmitters change, but really the only ones that I can change are my own.
Yeah.
I can't climb inside someone's head and tell them, because I don't know what's best. I really don't always know. I know
Right.
I had to do a lot of dumb stuff in my life. I had to go down a lot of the wrong roads. I had to say a lot of the wrong things to realize what the right things were for me. So
Yeah. Yes.
I don't want to push anyone through a door that they're not ready to go through either.
Right. Right. And your story is pretty amazing. And you can share as much as you want of it, but I do want to say that I think there is this feeling that we are supposed to fix as massage therapists, and allowing people to walk through their door is hard to do. But also, when you are a person, but I think you specifically are really good at this, you are open about who you are, and I think that helps people to see, well, then maybe I can be open about who I am. So your story is pretty incredible. Can you tell me quickly, so who's your the massage mentor? Who is your mentor?
So
Women especially, please.
hands-on mentors. I like I said, for me, my hands-on work always came through my self-care and my work on myself as a person. And the clearer and healthier I felt as a person, the better my massage got. That's just what's true for me. You know, in the times of my life where I was like a mess, or I'm partying like a rock star, I'm not going for my morning walks, I'm not taking a little time for myself, I'm not studying maybe, you know, what chakra might make what this happen in the body, or what emotions might be holding in my shoulder, or reading the face, or reading all of that. I love reading. I love body reading. Is my favorite.
So cool.
But but for me, and I'll just share real shortly, you know, I've dealt with addiction in my life, and I've been clean and sober for quite a long time, and I haven't had a drink or a drug, and you know, and for a long time I thought that was a weakness, that was something that I struggled with, and it just turned out to be the greatest gift. So a lot of my mentors came through my struggles, you know, like I'm getting emotional. It was the women who loved me until I loved myself. So for me, that's really important for me to be that for other people, you know, and to love them until they love themselves, to just kind of be there for them until they figure out for themselves. Because usually when people came at me like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to fix this, I was like,
yep.
What? You know, but
that'll make me push you farther away.
I've been through this. I've been through that. You're not alone. You can do this. That's the kind of mentality. Sharing their people who have, all the women, all of them, every single woman that has shared their experience with me in an honest, raw way. I'd say that they're my greatest mentors and my greatest gifts and my greatest teachers.
So thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, that it's so intense and so beautiful and so true. And one of the things that we were talking about before we started was that addiction can show up in so many different levels. And the way that I have seen it in my own world has been with food. And I am deeply obsessed with eating and shoving my emotions down with gallons of chocolate ice cream, which I love. And battling that addiction, it really, when you're facing your own addictions, you're really looking hard at yourself. And I think when you've moved through it like you did, and so incredible that you did, you know that the work is every day. And I think that's part of it, right? So there's often times when we get through life and we go, oh, and you have a realization, you figured something out. And then at least for me, tell me if you agree with this. I get this realization and I have this revelation and I feel like, oh, okay, I figured that out. Now I can move past it. And now I'm enlightened and I'm good. I don't have to work anymore. Like, that's so the wrong, you know, I think that those revelations and those moments of enlightenment are just kind of like, okay, hang on to that and do that work every day. That's the work we do every day. So the presence and the work that I feel like people who are sober, people who have been through food addictions, exercise addictions, alcohol, drug addictions, all those things, when you are in it, you are the ones who are doing the work, the hard work, and that's every day. That's incredible stuff.
And as you were saying that, I remember, you know, my father said to me, he said, Diane, you always have to keep an eye on your shadow. You know, there's a kind of like we all have our things that
Yes.
you know, that aren't so grand about us, you know, but we don't hide them or stuff them away. You know, you just gotta keep your eye on them so that they don't swallow you whole. So I'm quite aware, you know, of my shortcomings or my lesser strengths, and I don't pretend they're not there anymore. I'm quite aware they're there, and I want to keep them in check so that you know, you can see who I really am. And like I said, all of those things are really what I feel like really helped me become a great massage therapist. And you know, that work on myself and being able to relate to people and wanting to listen to people and know their story to a degree. Because it makes them feel comfortable, and then they're easy, you know, it creates change. My enthusiasm for life helped. I think.
Yeah, I definitely think that, especially with massage clients, and I feel like with employees too, people want to be heard. And if you're in a space that you can listen, that's the
everyone on the planet. I think, like, it's one of the things that actually one of my mentor and I were talking about the other day was I mean, I work so hard every day. Like you were saying, well, how do you build trust with your employees? I work so hard every day to hear them. And you know what we think we're hearing someone say and what they're really saying, or it could be totally different things. I think you and I touched on this last time. So I'll hear them, and then I'll tell them what I think I heard.
Yes.
Right. And make sure, and then I address it. So a lot of times, like I said, there's like all kinds of cool things that you can do to listen and make sure people feel heard. And one thing is, you know, repeating back what you heard them say, because a lot of times, especially with my wife, "Hi, honey."
Hi, honey.
She's like, "I was not saying that." I'm like, "Oh, you know,
right.
You know, so it really does help. If it's so hard though, I want to, even when I'm talking to you, sometimes I'm like, you know, and I'm always trying to like, okay, let the rebel massage therapist talk, Diane.
Well, now I'm interviewing, so this is fun.
I know this is fun. I hope I'm answering the questions in a way that.
Yeah, you totally are. You totally are. I'm loving it. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that feeds my soul. Absolutely. There is just this level of when we get down to the grit of not. It's not just about how to grow your business, how to keep clients, how to do the techniques.
Yes.
It always comes down to the bigger stuff, which is about self-awareness and self-worth and your boundaries and the ability to listen and the ability to allow people to talk. I mean, those things, it all comes down to those bigger things. And I think those are scary topics to talk about often. So I'm all about it.
And change. Like nature to me is like a huge classroom, right? Like in order for a river to change direction, if it changes really fast, there's disaster, right? Like there's a flood, trees, animals. But if it can move really slowly. Like the way the river flows, it can change direction. But if it changes slowly, then it causes less harm. You know, a rock can change shape, but it takes a really long time. You can plant a seed. I plant a seed, and then I'm like, grow.
Yeah.
Grow.
Why is it growing?
It's not showing its little leaves until it's ready. You know, and sometimes time takes time. It does. It takes patience, even to change the way we see things. It takes practice and repetition and I'll just leave with this. My stepmom said to me, and she passed, and this is one of the most valuable things. Another woman, and if we're saying women, I would say my stepmom is way up there for me.
Awesome.
She said, you know, if it was easy to be happy, Diane, everyone would be happy.
Totally.
She said, but it takes
such a good point. Such a good point. Oh my gosh, such a good point.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And then to the other part of it is that if you were happy all the time, you wouldn't appreciate happiness. So it's that same, like the whole yin yang, you know, you've got to have dark with the light. So yes, I love that.
The Tao Te Ching says high winds don't blow all day, you know?
Yeah.
So how could I run around like, la, 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 la?
Right.
It would be weird.
Yes. Good. All good things. and Buddha says, if your mouth is open, you're not learning.
There you go.
All those things. Okay, what were some of my other questions? I think we've kind of gone around all of them a lot, but I want to talk about this one because I think this is an important one for me that I think about a lot. So how do you stay passionate with what we do? How do you stay to the point? Because I think that people are drawn to passion. So if you are passionate about the work, and I think it's really easy to get stuck in a rut. So what are some of the things that you do to, on the levels of either as a massage therapist or for you as a boss, as an owner of a clinic, how do you stay passionate when there are things that I'm sure show up that feel so irritating and make you rethink everything?
So as a massage therapist, one of the things that I always did was I realized that every single time, even if I saw like in the 90s, we would see the same client every week. Like I would have a book of clients, the same clients every week for months booked out. It was just a little different time. Everyone was really into it. And I was just completely packed all the time, the same faces every week. Yeah. But one of the things that I always said is they're never ever the same person every time they come in, you know, and there's always something new to discover with a client. And so I always just kept trying to keep learning. And like I said, one of my big things is body reading. I love reading bodies, and I love reading faces, and I love knowing about, like, I put this here because we were getting into some of this. I love this book. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right.
It's written it was written in the 70s, and Ken Deichwald actually might do an interview with me, which is really cool. But I know I love
exciting.
So, but it goes into the different body splits, and like, you know, I will sit and just look at people's ears. The ears have so much information, the bottom part of our face, the middle part, the top part, the lines in our forehead, all of it, the way we carry ourselves. So for me, like the way a client talks, I just get really into it. I've never been like a real technical person. I've always been like a feeler. And like I love observing and watching and seeing how much of that stuff is true. Because part of me wants to prove it wrong. You know, like that has to be a bunch of crap. You can't tell about a person by looking at their ears. But after like 20 years of being like, let me see your ear.
Right. And their tongue,
there's some truth.
And yes, all sorts of stuff. But I think again, like it all comes back to these deeper, bigger truths, knowing who you are and what you like. So I think for me, I in the beginning got caught up with, well, maybe I should learn more about chakras. Maybe I should learn, because I do a lot of feeling, but I'm very technical. That's why we hi. Yes. So it took me a long time to kind of really acknowledge that was my jam and go, I'm just going to go with this. And I, don't have the best handle on some of the stuff that you're talking about, and some of the stuff that I feel like I am mesmerized and so in awe of chakras and meridians and Ayurvedic medicine and ancient Chinese medicine. Like that stuff is mind blowing to me and so beautiful. But as much as I've tried to make it mine, it's not mine. I don't know why. It just is not. And I get really, I do better in the technical, but it took me a while to figure out that was my jam. Like coming back to, again, knowing who you are. And that's the thing that you put forward and work on every day, right?
And then too, like keeping the rest of it for me too. Like, we have a muscle we cured freedom massage now, where right now the temporalis muscle is on the mirror in the bathroom.
That's awesome.
So like, and it has all the attack. Because like in my brain, I'd like to really get deep into that as well. So, but on that point though, it's not like my go-to is the other stuff, but there's a place for everyone. And one of the things my mentor said is, Diane, you will never have competition. And I'm like, what? He said, there's too many bodies. There's too many bodies. Yeah. Compared to how many massage people are, there's way more bodies. So don't worry about it. Just do your, do your thing. Do your thing.
And not only that. Yeah. Yes. So true. So true. But you touched on, like you just mentioned something that, and again, I went from not listening to wanting to talk, but, but I there's the competition thing. I think that was my battle. I had to, get to a place where I didn't have to be the best. Not only did I not have to be the best, I went through a long period of time where I would hear that a client went to see another therapist, and I would immediately be like, why? I wasn't good enough? Well, I wasn't like perfect? What did I do wrong? I went to a very competitive space, and that did nothing but damage me. It did nothing but damage me. And so I learned the hard way that it's really when you lift other people up that you are, in essence, lifting yourself up. It really comes from the joy and the celebration of somebody else's success, that you can then maybe appreciate your own success. And I think that like along those same lines, like there are plenty of bodies, there are plenty of massage therapists, and we are all different, and we are all going to find our path. And I think that is the thing that that was my bigger lesson that I think it rings so true around all of this stuff. Kind of figuring out who you are, understanding that we're all going to make it, we're all going to be fine, and and success is really more about happiness and groundedness and truth than it is about financial gain. I mean, all that stuff is important.
God, yeah.
But
I agree.
Yeah.
Want to know one of my tricks that I do?
Yes, please.
When I get like, when I have that moment, like, what? I'm failing.
Yeah.
Look what they're doing. Ah.
Yeah.
I try to say, bless them, change me.
That's awesome.
Because
yeah,
they need to, it's good for them. And the only problem about what they're doing is how I'm seeing it.
You should be on Twitter. I'm going to throw this out there right now. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think you have a lot of good little quips. You have a lot of little really amazing, and those of you who are watching, I don't want you to text in and tell me if I'm telling the truth, but I think this is so true. You've got lots of great sayings that are so good to hear, and so like, yes, I want to keep that stuff coming into my world. Twitter is the space for that. I'm just saying.
And they were, I wish I could say they originated with me, but a lot of them came from my mentors,
It doesn't matter.
It's just like, it's like a we program. Life is like all about the we too. I think that's another thing that I'm discovering, with our relationship. It's fun to be on the Massage Mentor page. Hey, everybody, I'm a massage mentor, but it's even more fun with the Rebel. It's like the we and two totally different but similar, good-hearted people coming together. It's really cool, and that's how we learn, right?
Yeah, totally. But you're good at that. You're good at coming up with the words. I don't have that kind of brain. I can't remember that kind of stuff. So I love it when you say stuff and I'm like, oh yes, perfectly, beautifully said. I love that.
I'm here. Anytime you need a little, just send me a little text. So where are we at? What do you think?
I mean, I could talk for hours, but what's that?
I feel pretty fulfilled.
Yeah, I feel good.
Fun. I really liked you asking me questions.
That was fun for me.
And then you even participated in the answers, and I thought your answers were beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
It's always a joy hanging out with you.
Always, man, always. I'm definitely looking forward to these, and I love how this is growing. And you mentioned before we started that I hope we keep doing this, and absolutely, I concur. I think this is, and I hope that I hope this is okay for me to say, but I hope that. Even if we get people to type in any topics that they would like to hear covered or questions that they want to hear.
I think we'll do that. We're doing this just so everyone knows. We're going to do this the first Tuesday of the month at 1 o'clock, and then what I'll do is I'll start putting it up sooner. And then if people, I'm getting better. Like I'm looking at the comments today. Ahead of time, if you guys have questions, you can give us questions, and we'll talk about your questions on the time that we have.
I think, yep. Open the conversation up.
Yeah, we'll open the conversation up. Yeah, it'll be fun.
For sure. Awesome.
So
thank you.
I think for now we're going to sign off.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone. It was a pleasure. It got a little deep. I think I got a little teary-eyed today. So the Rebel massage therapist, thank you so much for joining us. I adore you. I can't wait.
Thank you, Diane. I adore you too. Thank you.